Hello all. How have you guys been? It's been a few weeks, hasn't it? Lots to talk about today. We are going to address the elephant in the room of my absence. I have 3.5 finished objects, I'll say, and just a couple whips going, which also means that I have some cast on plans because I don't like just a couple whips. So let's just get into it because unfortunately, I have done poor time management today and I'm short on time and have an appointment I need to get to in just a little bit. So where have I been? Has anyone noticed I've been gone? I'm just kidding. I really have missed the community though, and am sad that it's taken me so long to get back. I was priding myself very much on getting videos out every week. And then I have missed the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, my middle son had his wisdom teeth out. And to be honest, I just had very poor time management with that day and did not have time to record. I thought I would maybe have time to before we went to his appointment, and then I didn't. And then I thought I would have time after we were home, but I was just kind of keeping an eye on him and helping him make sure he was okay. So that was kind of like all stressful in its own way. Everything went completely fine. He did fantastic. Recovery was a bit rough for him. So, if you're a parent, it just kind of, it hurts in a different way when it's your kids, right? And you can't quite take that from them. So my heart was heavy for a little while he was recovering, and he's like a very quiet, keep to himself kind of kid anyway, so he's not very upfront when he's like in pain or needs something, so you have to do a little bit of digging and prodding to help him. But yes, so anyway, so recovery is pretty much all done with that. We're 2 weeks out now. He just still has a little bit of discomfort on the one upper side where they had to dig in a bit more and put in some stitches. But thank goodness out of the woods for the most part with all of that. And then last week, funny, not funny, I actually did record an entire video. But when I was watching it back to just edit, and by edit, I mean, I don't, obviously if you've seen my videos before, like I don't cut things out or anything, but adding pictures and stuff like that, it was very clear that my mental state was not that great. My videos are always a little jumbly anyway, because that's just how my brain works, even though I always make, or have been lately, making notes. I just was all over the place, and it just was not, it wasn't content that I was comfortable putting out. So I scrapped it and here we are. So I feel like I have a lot to talk about today. I want to just kind of hop into it. I have 3 pairs of socks that I have done, and I am so excited to share them. 2 of them I have already worn several times, and then 1 pair I quite literally just finished like 10 minutes ago. And they're not even, well, we'll get to it, but the ends aren't even woven in yet, but I'm counting them as a finished object because I'm going to be wearing them and everything by next week anyway. When I was grabbing all of my all these socks and everything though, I realized I have so many socks to block. I am really, really bad about blocking my knits right away after they're done, like no matter what they are, because I feel like I just want to wear them. I haven't even blocked my grandma's socks that I finished for her weeks ago, which means they have not been gifted to her yet, which she doesn't know about them, so it's okay. It's not like she's waiting for them, but I don't know why. I have so many socks I need to block. Anyway, so my first pair of socks, which got done so fast because I was so obsessed with these, are my Regia Perfect socks. I had said before that they reminded me of like vintage gym socks for some reason. I'm obsessed with the color. I'm obsessed with this stripy cuff up here. And it's just a really great blue. It's kind of not, not quite neutral, but it's not in your face bright like a lot of my other socks are. These were really fun to do because if you have not used Regia Perfect or socks yet, I cannot recommend them more. They are a bit on the woolly, what is that called when people say they're like not soft, but they're, do you know what I'm trying to say? They're not soft. Like you can feel the wool in them. Why am I blanking on the word? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So I personally really like socks like that. I love my soft socks as well, but the, like, they're not scratchy. Oh my gosh, what is that word? Anyway, that doesn't bother me. I really, really loved my other Regia, so I knew I would love these. Back to my point is, they tell you, you don't do anything for this yarn. It is all changed on its own. And when you take off the ball band on the inside, it explains to you exactly how to knit them. The two I've done have been exactly the same, so I'm fairly confident in saying all perfect socks would be like this. But you knit the cuff until the color changes. The cuffs are always a little extra long, which I personally like very much. And then you start knitting the leg until the color changes again. And then you do the heel until your heel's done, I guess. And then you knit your foot and your toe until it's your size. Now, when I was going to knit the heel, my previous ones that I knit, I just did a heel flap and gusset because that's all I knew how to do at the time. And the instruction said to start your boomerang heel. And I was like, boomerang heel, what is that? And I was like, sure, I'm going to give it a go. I've been trying, the afterthought heels more and just kind of experimenting because there's so many different kinds of heels. Why are there so many different kinds of heels to do? So I'm trying to make it through all of them to see if maybe I do like something more than the heel flap and gusset. I do really like the afterthought or forethought, whatever you want to call it, depending on, I'm assuming you know the difference between a forethought and an afterthought. They're exactly the same heel. It's just a forethought heel is placing stitch markers if you know where you want the heel, and an afterthought heel is this is figuring it out afterwards, but they're both worked exactly the same. Anyway, and I really do like those as well. They fit me great too. And those are the only two heels that I've tried until the boomerang heel. So I was YouTubing a video on how to do it, and I very much enjoy Nimble Needles. I feel terrible, I cannot remember his name, but he does great tutorials. I've used him several times in the past for other things. So I was watching his video and doing the boomerang heel, which then I learned is also called the short row heel, which I guess we call that in America. Europeans call it a boomerang heel, a German short row heel. Why do they have two different names if they're the same heel? Why doesn't everybody just call them the boomerang heel? Anyway, so I learned how to do that. I don't love or hate it. I don't love, well, I can tell you what I don't love. I don't love how loose the, like this part is. It's a little better on this side, so I can't quite remember like which is which, but it's like that on this as well. It's just really like loose right there. And I know that I could go back in and like thread it from the inside to tighten it. But has anybody had success in making that tighter? Like how do you, maybe I just need to practice more or maybe watch another video. But that was a bummer. Otherwise I liked them. They were easy to do once you got into the groove of it. I did these on magic loop one at a time. Now something else I've also discovered now doing magic loop is my gauge is way bigger on magic loop. And it baffles me how your gauge changes. I mean, I normally use 9-inch ChowGoo or 9-inch circulars for my socks the majority of the time. Very rarely do I use DPN for an entire sock. That's just not my preferred method. But I really was jiving with the magic loop, and I think I talked about this the last time. And but these are pretty big on me. So I didn't actually check my gauge. I guess I could have. But the reason I think, no, actually I know my gauge is bigger. These fit looser, and I'll tell you why, because the next pair of socks I'm going to talk about, I also did on Magic Loop one at a time, and they're bigger as well. And they're a standard sock. So I guess lesson learned. I don't know if I'm going to figure out how to accommodate still using a Magic Loop, meaning I don't know if I'm gonna get a smaller needle, which would be a US 0, which sounds terrible. It sounds very small. Or if I'm just going to adjust my like stitches and just, you know, use fewer stitches. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. No, whatever. I'm going to ruminate on it and see how I feel the next time I go to start socks and possibly want to do Magic Loop. So this is my first sock set done. Oh, wait a minute. One other thing to say about this boomerang heel. So apparently I just don't know how to do German short rows. And I learned that with this heel because the very last episode I talked about my Moby sweater and how I royally like messed it up. Which side note, I also realized, and please don't judge me. I don't even know how I did this. I mess everything up. Like I've talked about this ad nauseum. It's just what happens when I knit. It doesn't matter how careful I am. I've accepted it. So you need to accept it too. It's just what's going to happen. And I'm going to talk about my errors always on my videos because I want to make sure that others know that it happens and that it's okay. And it's also okay to be frustrated. It's okay to put a project down for a little bit, like I have my Moby sweater. But it's just a part of my knitting process. So it is what it is. But a couple of things about my Moby sweater. I have no idea why I did this. I've never read a chart before, but I was reading it from right to left. In what world would that ever need to happen? I was literally reading it backwards. Now for the Moby sweater, it's completely symmetrical, so it probably doesn't actually matter that I did that. But what? I mean, I guess it does because there's turn stitches, but what? And she even has like on the chart, well, it's going to be backwards for you if I pretend to hold it up. But like on the chart, it even says like on the left column, there's at the very, very bottom, there's an arrow that says start here, as in like left to right. That's how we read. Like, why would I ever have gone from right to left? I have no idea. So hilarious. Again, it didn't really, I don't think it would have changed anything, but it doesn't matter because I'm frogging it anyway. It's still in the exact same space that it was in when I last showed it. I have not even touched it. It's quite literally still like in its little basket under this table here. Because I just haven't been in the headspace to do it. But my whole point to this boomerang heel is it taught me how to do German short rows because I watched his video. I now realize looking back, I just never knew how to do it, I guess. I never paid attention or put the effort in, or I don't know what it was, but I didn't know how to do it. So I actually completely did the turn stitches on the Moby sweater wrong as well. So I'm really glad that I didn't make it any further than I did before realizing I had made errors anyway. But I now know how to do a German short row for, you know, I would still probably reference his video because it was very helpful, or a German short row video. But it took me back even further because last summer I had tried to make the Tolsta tee by the Crea Bea. I was super excited about it. I had this great cotton comfy yarn in this beautiful like brown, I think it was called macchiato maybe. And when I was doing it, I could not get my numbers on the German short rows to add up properly. I was constantly having the wrong amount of stitches on the needle. I was ending on the wrong rows. There was just a lot of messes, and I had just attributed my errors at the time to like the time frame in my life. I had started it right after my mom had passed away, so I just thought I wasn't in the headspace to be able to focus on it, which very well could have been a a lot of the issue as well. But now after doing this boomerang, I realized too that I just didn't know how to do it, because as I was watching the video, everything that he was saying was incredibly foreign to me. So so who knew socks would like help me so much, right? So anyway, those are my first pair of socks. That was long-winded. And then after I had finished the stripes on this, I had knew actually while I was knitting the cuff that I wanted so badly to make another set of Cider House socks from the Summerly Knits. It's this amazing cabled sock pattern, and it has like some stripes around the, not in the cuff, but are they in the cuff? I don't think they're in the cuff. I think they're at the beginning of the leg, and I wanted more stripes so bad. And so I was planning on doing those. But then I had picked up the sock set that I wanted to use, which was my March, I believe, Sock Squad from Farmer's Daughter Fiber, and the yarn was a bit too variegated for those socks, like in my opinion. Like I just wanted to have a more tonal sock for those, so I decided just to kind of go rogue, which you know I don't do, and figure out a little like Cider House leg, so to speak. And then I just did vanilla socks, because I was also, when I went to go start these, not only did I could have just picked another yarn, but I was also not in a headspace to do cabling and stuff like that. My soul just needed some more vanilla socks. So I decided just to do stripies. So these are my beautiful second pair of socks. Obviously, they're both exactly the same. So I just did some socks up here. This is the contrast color that came with it. It's this beautiful, it's not gonna come out right. It's like a beautiful, like grayish blue, teal, navy. It's beautiful. And then I really loved just this. I just did a heel flap and gusset, and then I repeated the two stripes at the bottom and did the contrast toe. Well, I played yarn chicken and I lost, because I made it through both stripes, but then I ran out of yarn and I had to do the toe in main color, which of course does drive me a little bit crazy, but it's a toe. It's mostly in my shoes, obviously, so I'm dealing with it. But I do really love these colors together a lot. I majorly, just to be clear, would have lost at yarn chicken. Like this is all I have left. I don't even know if you can see it. This is all I have left. So I would not have made it very far in the toe at all. So yeah, so I love these as well, but this is how I know my gauge is bigger on Magic Loop, because these socks are pretty loose as well. I don't mind a loose sock. I don't mind a tight sock. I love all the socks that I've made, but these are loose too. So if I do Magic Loop again, I am going to have to either get a smaller needle or do just a smaller stitch count. So we'll see. And then these little beauties are my very last sock finished pair that I'm counting, even though they still need the ends woven in. These are my Freckled Whimsy. I think it was Vintagey Christmas was this sock colorway. I don't have the tags downstairs in my office, but these I just finished this morning. And look at how, if you watch Kay the Crazy Sock Lady, she's currently working on these. Well, they're probably done by now. But the heel and the toe are in the contrast color, which is just this beautiful, like, I don't even know, brownie, gingerbready type. It's an 8 stripe repeat, and I love her yarn very, very much. It's so soft. So I'm gonna get the ends all woven in probably today, and I might even wear these to work tomorrow. So I wear my hand knit socks a lot. I wear them a lot to work. I wear scrubs a lot of the time, probably more than 50% of the time. So I'm always wearing my hand knit socks. And so I kind of want to get these on my feet tomorrow. I really loved them. These I did do on 9-inch circulars, mostly because I wanted to see the difference, because I had just knit these. And even actually, like, even holding them up, you can tell, oh my. Now I have worn these for 2 days, so they are like a little just naturally stretched out, but holy guacamole. I guess I didn't realize, oh my God, look at that. Huh. I didn't realize like actually like how much bigger these are. Oh, yikes. Well, there you go. Don't even need to do a gauge swatch. I can see it. Yeah, they are bigger. All right, well, I'll have to figure out what to do. Whatever, I'm not worrying about it right now. But those are my 3 whips. Now I said I had 3.5 finished objects, or not whips, finished objects. Because I also finished the seed scarf that I was making for my son's teacher. The only reason I say it's not finished is because I do have fringe that I had pre-cut. So I think I'm gonna add them and see how it looks. And obviously if I don't like them, I can just take them out. So this, I'm excited I got this done. Although I guess it's been a little while, so it's not gonna be a surprise that I have all these finished objects. But so this is how much I had done, that little cat right there. And then it's this beautiful Colorama Karen cake that goes from purple, there's no easy way, to a beautiful light pink, to a purple, to a blue, to a dark blue. See? And I just did seed stitch. I did a 31 count stitch because I wanted to end and start and end my rows on knit stitches just so that it was easier for, I guess it doesn't make it easier for me to remember anything, but oh, whatever. I just wanted to start and end on knits. I guess I don't have a reason why. And it seems like it's dreadfully long, but then I did put it on and I think it's actually okay because you can comfortably wrap it around twice. And I feel like that's nice and cozy, right? Plus then you can see like all the colors. So for this side, I pre-cut this dark like purpley pink for a fringe, and then I pre-cut this like dark blue. So I'm gonna have that be either matching or mixing the 2 colors in each side. I haven't quite decided yet. That might be a little too like crazy for me because I do really like things symmetrical. But I'll see what looks better. So yeah, so it ends right here. So like, you know, there's my belly button. So I think it ended up being a really good length. And I used literally the entire cake, which is, oh, here, I have it here. So it's the Karen Colorama Halo, perfectly phasing in the color Blue Raspberry. It's a bulky weight acrylic yarn. I apologize. It's, oh, I didn't realize this. It's 71% acrylic, 18% nylon, and 11% polyester. I just wanted to make sure she'd be able to wash it okay and not have to worry about it. And it is 481 yards. So it's a lot. It was a lot in this cake. And it wasn't very expensive at all. And I might have even gotten it on sale. I can't quite remember. But anyway, my son picked out the colorway and I'm really happy with it. I actually would like to, they had so many different colors and they were so pretty. And there's something so fascinating to me about color changing yarn. I really love it. So I would really like to get a cake or 2 cakes maybe and either make a scarf. And I would probably just honestly repeat this. I really like the width of it. It's because then you could always like, you know, cover yourself up if you need to. So I would either do this or I really, and I had already talked about this, I think I'd like to really buy 2 cakes and do the fade one way and then the fade opposite so that it ends and starts on the same colorway in a big shawl. I think that would be so pretty too. So we'll see. That's not even like on my radar because I have a jillion things that I want to make before that. Plus, I'm doing really, really, really good with my no buy try. I do not have the exact days, but I will post it actually because I am keeping track of it. I just forgot to look, but it's been a really, really long time. Actually, the last thing I bought were my Regia Perfect socks. And I mean, it has to be like 3 weeks, if not longer. So I'm really excited about that. I've been doing really good with that. There was one little, I'm not going to call it a slip up, but I'm going to talk about it in a little bit with my plans. So this is going strong. And then whip wise, I barely have anything because the Moby sweater hasn't been touched. I do need to get back to that. I know that. And then the only other thing I have going is my Thursday night knit, my knit night sweater, which is the lightweight Raglan pullover. It's a free pattern by Purl Soho, and I am using Purl Soho yarn in buckwheat beige. It is their sweetgrass, and it is a cotton alpaca blend. I have a couple things to say about this. So I'll try to make this very brief. I had a huge mess up, like huge. I'm not even being dramatic. It was ridiculous. You do the sleeves from cuff up, and then you do the pullover from bottom up, and then join however you join. I'm not even that far in the pattern yet, so I don't know. And again, I was only knitting this on Thursday nights. I have a knit night with my girlfriend. We're both knitting the same sweater. We're knitting it like together, but she's doing this beautiful striped version. And the pattern states, and obviously you can always work things up however you want to, but the first go around, I typically will follow the pattern pretty much to a T, just because it makes me nervous not to. So you do it on DPNs, the sleeves, and you use 3 DPNs. So you know you're working a triangle with your 4th needle as your working needle. You know how DPNs work. But I was going. I don't like working with 3 DPNs. I really like working in a square with 4. So I have a ton of extra DPNs. So I had grabbed a 4th DPN so that I could just work it in a square. It was just much more comfortable for me. I don't know. It's just a comfort thing. Everyone has their thing. So I was going, and did I finish the sleeve? No, I didn't quite, did I? Maybe I made it through all the increases. I can't quite remember, but I was very far into it. Like I had to have been nearly done with it, because you do increases almost all the way to the top of the sleeve. There's only about 2 or 3 inches where you're just doing stockinette in the round. When I realized that the 4th DPN that I grabbed was not the same size as the other 3 DPNs that I was using. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I have, yeah, here I have them. Do I have them all? Okay, so I was using US 6s, and then I'm sorry, this is a bad story. The pattern calls for US 4s. I was using US 6s because they are 4 millimeter, and I mix them up all the time. The other thing is it doesn't even matter if you see this or not, but I was using my Knitpicks set of DPNs, and they have the millimeters listed first, and all of my other DPNs have the US size listed first. So it was listed not how I'm used to. Obviously, this is all my fault. And I mix up all the time the US and the millimeter sizes. This is not the first project I've done that on. So I was knitting this on 3 US 6s, which is 4 millimeters. So 3 4 millimeter and 1 US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter. Now, depending on whatever size you want to talk about, it's 2 US sizes difference or 0.5 millimeters difference. And when I had I wasn't done with this yet, because when I had realized it, I still had more to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Do I just keep going, knowing that one of these is the wrong size, and like hoping that you don't really see it since it's only going to be on one side and the side's going to be alternating with how you use DPNs? Or is like, will it block out? Like, I don't know what to do. So then I was like, don't be an idiot. It's going to bother you. So why are you even trying to figure this out? So I had to frog almost the whole sleeve, which was like 3 knit night evenings worth of knitting. It was heartbreaking. But again, it's part of my process. So I since I had to redo it anyway, I didn't want to use DPNs. I just really don't prefer to use them. So I decided to get an Addy Rocket Squared magic, so I could do magic loop in US 4, which is 100% the right size. And as I was ordering it, I even made sure, like, I had my girlfriend like double check my order and compare it to the pattern to make sure that it was like the right size. So I ordered this. I've used Rocket Squared before. I do have another needle in that. I don't know if you guys have ever used Addy Rocket Squared. I really enjoy them. The needle is actually a square instead of circular. And I really like them. I already had experience with it. So I had just ordered that and decided to redo the entire sleeve correctly on the right US needle and just do magic loop. So I had to catch up so that I was ready for the next knit night. So I spent almost all my knitting time of a whole weekend to make the sleeve, and I did. And I was all ready to go, and we had knit night 2 weeks ago. I had started the next sleeve, was super excited, going strong. Doing the magic loop was just way easier, less fuss for me than DPNs. And then my girlfriend had to cancel this past Thursday because she was sick, and I felt terrible. And then I also can't go to knit night this Thursday or next Thursday due to other obligations. So I was like, what are we gonna do? And she's like, I think we should just keep knitting on it. And I was devastated. I felt like I was cheating on knit night if I kept working on this at home. But also on the flip side, I'm really excited to have it done. And I know she is too. So it is no longer my knit night sweater. It's gonna just be a regular whip. But I do have this sleeve done. Look at that. And then I am mere inches away from having my second sleeve done. So exciting. So I've been working on this quite a bit. These are my 2 sleeves. So I just have a few more inches to go. They do, just as a reminder, have this really nice corded stitch at the cuffs, and then it's also at the bottom hem of the sweater and at the neckline. This corded stitch is a pain in the butt. It's a real pain in the butt to do. It's not my favorite, but I do really like how it looks. So I respect the detail it provides. But yeah, so this is where I am with this. I'm almost done. I honestly probably just have like maybe 10 more rows to do. So I'm going to take this. We have soccer practice tonight. I'm going to take that tonight and work on that a little bit more. I had something else I wanted to say about that. Oh well. Oh, if you ever do a corded stitch, I 1,000 bajillion% recommend putting a lifeline in where it tells you to. The very first time I knit it, I was like, meh, I don't need a lifeline. I've never done that before. And it was fine. I did it. But then the second time I was like, well, let me try it. Oh, it was really like a game changer. So if you're ever doing a corded stitch, do a lifeline. You will thank yourself later. That's really my only whip, you guys. I need to get some more needles or some more socks on the needles because I love having socks on the go. And since I finished my striped socks this morning, I don't have any. So let's talk knitting plans. I need some summer garments on my needles is what I've decided. I have really not knit a lot of garments and I want to knit more. And I have found so much inspiration in everybody's spring plans or 10 spring knit patterns or, you know, all of these. I literally love watching those videos and those compilations. Like, it's so inspiring to me. Well, I was watching Casey from Young Folk Knits yesterday, and she had done a bit ago a capsule wardrobe video, and I instantly as in almost dropped what I was doing to go cast this on. The Emmanuel tee by Johanna Gehrisch, and I know she's a very popular knit artist, but I don't know why I've never really like checked her stuff out before, but I'm gonna pop a picture up because it is such a stunning shirt. It is beautiful. The front is just completely stockinette, and then it has this gorgeous lace paneling down the middle of the back, and it's just perfect. And I love it because I'll be able to wear it to work with just a cardigan over it. but then I can also wear it easily, obviously, like outside of work as well. So I really love transitional pieces that I can wear at any point, just so I can get more use out of them. And if I'm going to spend the time knitting a garment, I do want it to be, you know, very like multi-use. It's beautiful. And dare I say the best part is I'm able to use some yarn that I have in my stash. I have a DK weight that is a cotton, it might be cotton acrylic blend, but I'm going to try to use it. It's in this beautiful beige, which is kind of funny because I'm knitting this raglan in a beige, and I don't want to be this like beigey person, but I also want to use my stash, and I totally have enough to use it. So I am going to be doing that very, very soon. And then just to call back something I've talked about earlier, I had yarn and everything ready and started to do the Tolsta tea last year and had to frog it. But I'm back on the train of wanting to restart that and try it better. So I'm going to cast that on also soon. I'm not sure when I'm going to work that in. I don't know when I'm going to work the cast-ons in, because I do want to work on my Raglan pullover also, since we're not going to have knit night for several weeks. But also if this gets like tucked aside and waits just till we resume knit night, like that's okay also. Because I'm super excited about this Emmanuel tee. It was just stunning to me. It was so, so stunning. So I want to get that going. And then in terms of socks, I want to really knit myself a pair of shorty lace socks. So I'm going to pull a pattern from my Summerly Knits sock book that she just came out with a few months ago, I think it was. She had quite a few patterns in there, and I want to dip my toe into all of those. So I'm going to do a pair of shorties shorty, but I want to do lace socks because I've never done lace socks before. So I'm going to do those, cast those on at some point. And then I'm also going to finish a long-standing whip. I had started, this might have even been from last summer, I had a sock set from Freckled Whimsy that I was doing the heel toe do-si-do pattern on. And I was originally doing it for my son because he loves handmade socks, like my youngest. But after doing it, he didn't like the way they fit. I don't know. He said there was some kind of like weird feeling in the toe, whatever. So I set those aside because they're kid size, so I didn't really know what to do with them. But alas, my girlfriend's daughter is just a year or two younger than my son, and she has a birthday coming up. So I'm going to make the other sock, and I'm going to gift those to her for her birthday. And then I also am going to make my best friend, who kind of shares a birthday with her daughter almost, I'm going to make her a pair of socks too, because she kind of is always like jokingly asked for a pair of socks, but I know she'd really appreciate them. So I want to make the two of them some birthday socks. I wish I had matching yarn. That would be really cute, but I don't, and I'm not buying yarn. So I'm going to do those. And then the other pair of socks that I want to get cast on, which I need to do sooner than later, are my aunt has been asking for a pair of socks, and she has a birthday coming up at the end of May. So I have about a little less than a month. I did purchase yarn for these. Now, we all know that I'm doing the no buy try, and I had a few excuses or whatever you want to call that I would be able to buy yarn. Like if I needed to finish a project and I didn't have enough yarn, or if I was doing a gift knit and truly didn't have any yarn. Now, do I have sock yarn? Absolutely. But this birthday is going to be a little bit tricky because my aunt and my mom had birthdays that were one day apart. So we always celebrated their birthdays together. And this will be the first year that my aunt has to celebrate that alone. So, Hue Loco has had a colorway for a while that I have had my eye on called Robin. And I'll put a little picture here. And my mom's name was Robin. And it is a colorway based off of the bird Robin. So, my heart just told me that it was okay to purchase this colorway and make my aunt a pair of socks. So that should be here hopefully next week. If I remember correctly, Hue Logo is pretty fast with their shipping. So hopefully that'll be here next week and I'll be able to get that cast on for her. So I'm still considering my no buy try year still successful from like when I bought my Regia Perfect, because this is a gift and maybe it's finagling, but I can say that I didn't have a color. I really don't think that my aunt would really jive with any of my sock yarn colors anyway. This colorway is very beautiful. It's colorful, yet a little more on the muted bold. That doesn't even make sense, but when you saw the picture, maybe that will. And I don't know why I'm rambling about this. I know I can buy yarn if I want to, but it's just gonna be a hard birthday for all of us. So yes, anyway, so kind of homage to my mom, and then also like just a nice, honor for my aunt too. So that will hopefully be here soon. I do not know what sock I am going to do for my aunt or for my best friend yet. I'm gonna mull it over. I honestly might just do a pair of vanilla socks for my aunt because I think the colorway is just really beautiful, and I never really know what color or what pattern texture to do with darker colors because I feel like patterns just get really lost when they're darker colors. So I might just do vanilla socks for her, but then we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll do vanilla socks for both. But anyway, those are my plans. And then very quickly, because I am going to be late for my appointment, oops. I've been watching a ton of stuff. I can't even tell you everything I've finished because it's been so many weeks, but right now I am obsessed with The Flight Attendant on HBO Max. I know that it is not like anything newer. It's with Kaylee Cuoco. Anyway, and I love it. I'm not even in season 2 yet. I'm still in season 1. I'm like super engaged. I love it so much. So I've been watching that. My husband and I are watching Game of Thrones from the beginning. I can't remember if I mentioned this on my last video or not, but he already watched the whole season. He's been begging me to watch it, and I was like, I don't know, that's not my thing. But now that I'm reading the Court series by Sarah J. Maas, somebody else at work was like, no, if you love those books, you'll love Game of Thrones. So I finally made him happy one day when I was like, hey, let's watch Game of Thrones. So we've been watching that. They're longer episodes though, so we're kind of just doing that like a couple nights a week. And then otherwise we're just watching Schitt's Creek because it's like a funny thing to watch right before bed. And it's just, we love that show so much. We're constantly laughing. So those are the 3-ish things that I'm watching. Reading, I did get through the second book of the Court series. I think it was The Court of Mist and Fury, I think. Finished that, still obsessed. And of course, the third book on audio through Libby is like an 8-week wait. So that's fine, whatever. I mean, I'm dying, but so in the meantime, I just finished the audiobook, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. So good. It's a nice palate cleanser. It's not dramatic, but it's a really great story. It talks about a little bit of, I don't want to say trauma, but it's a really great story. And it threw me for a loop at the end, which I was not expecting. I was just expecting like a nice, like even-keeled story. So it was a nice little surprise at the end too, just to have a little twist. It was really, really, really good. And then I just started the House of the, I'll put a picture up. I don't quite remember the name. The House on the Cerulean Sea, or The House by the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. It's a book 1 of a series of 2, I believe. And I read audiobooked a previous book of his, the something Whispering Doors. And it was so good. It was like, I've never read a book like that before. It was so different than anything I've read. It was whimsical and sweet and, like dramatic and good and bad. And I loved it so much. It was like quite a roller coaster of like, what's going to happen? But not in a not in like a suspenseful way, like a sweet way, like, oh my gosh, is this gonna happen? Isn't it gonna happen? Anyway, I really loved it. I loved his writing style, so I knew that I would love this book. And then on top of it, a coworker of mine had just finished it and was like, oh my gosh, I loved this book. And I was like, fantastic. It was already on my list of things to read, and it was coming up in my queue anyway. So I just started listening to that today too. So that's where I'm at with things. I am totally going to be late to my appointment, so I do need to wrap it up. But thank you for being here. Thank you for dealing with my lack of absence on YouTube. Not that obviously anybody lives or dies by my videos at all. But anyway, I am here. I am okay, will be okay, whatever, all those things. And I hope that you are doing something very, very joyful this week. And I hope to see you guys next week.